The real dilemma when it comes to career strategy and AI is how to prepare for a future that you cannot clearly see. Woo, boy, the debate was heated. Two writers sparring about the use or non-use of artificial intelligence in their careers. Becky was adamant in her refusal to use AI, loss of humanity, stolen intellectual property, and cheating. On the other side of the fence was Roger, who was waxing rhapsodic about how Claude is his co-pilot bestie conducting research, ideating, and giving notes on his drafts. The conversation was heading off the rails, and I just couldn't help but think that they're both missing the point. Becky was focused on ethics and morality, and Roger was focused on efficiency and productivity. Neither of them was talking about what I'm seeing in my clients. The anxiety surrounding AI, it's not about technology gutting humanity. It's about what the tech represents. And for many of you, the tech is bringing up questions about your job relevancy, advancement, and security. Hi, I'm Laverne McKinnon, and this is Moonshot Mentor. If something at work changed that you really didn't want to change, I'm so sorry, and I'm really glad that you found your way here, because this is where we talk about what happened and how to figure out what comes next without feeling like you're throwing spaghetti against the wall. Now, if you want more of these conversations, you can subscribe, and if something here resonates, you can always reach out because I would love to hear your story. All right, let's jump in. The real dilemma when it comes to career strategy and AI is how to prepare for a future that you cannot clearly see. And if you're in a career transition, you probably hold more uncertainty than you know what to do with. It's difficult to make conscious, thoughtful choices when there isn't a clear answer. So oftentimes we wind up doing what the loudest voice in the room says, but that voice, it doesn't have a clue to what's most important to you. So probably not a good idea to listen to the loudest voice over your own. The folks who thrive during disruptions are the ones who stay open and curious. They embrace learning, and they're flexible enough to adjust to shifting circumstances. Now, they also have tools to stay grounded, so they remember what matters most to them rather than going with what everyone else is doing. Part of what makes AI difficult to navigate is that the experts don't agree. One day we're told millions of jobs will disappear. 6 months later, we're told the fears were overstated. The ground, it keeps shifting beneath our feet. Even Sam Altman, CEO of OpenAI, warned that AI could replace 30 to 40% of all work tasks. But then in a total reversal in May, Altman said that jobs apocalypse prophecy was completely overblown. Entry-level white-collar jobs are proving to remain more secure. So these predictions, they're swinging wildly all over the place. And yes, Altman is at the top of the heap, but there continues to be all of this conflicting information from even the most informed. So how do you make a decision during uncertainty when you don't have a crystal ball? Trust your values and use them as your decision-making tool. Values are what's most important to you. And while everyone has values, no two people share the same exact ones. And values change with new experiences, new data, new information. So what you valued as a teenager may be quite different from what you value when you start your first real job or become a parent or finally have some disposable income. Here's a way to use values to understand your relationship with AI so that you can make the best decision on whether to use it or not use it. So what you want to do is ask yourself, what values am I honoring by using AI? But that's not all. Ask yourself, what values am I compromising by using AI? The key here is to focus on your values, not other people's values. And then you're going to flip it. What values am I honoring by not using AI? And what values am I compromising by not using AI? So those 4 questions, they do have some repetition, but they're going to bring you clarity. So let me bring this alive by sharing my answers. So that first question, what values am I honoring by using AI? This was super clear. Efficiency, productivity, curiosity, learning. What values am I compromising by using AI? Respect. And by that, I mean respect for other people's work, having permission to use other people's work and intellectual property. I'm stepping all over that. And then I'm also, interestingly, stepping on learning and education, two of my core values, because I'm actually not that clear on how AI impacts the environment, mental health, authenticity. So I have more work that I need to do. The third question, what values am I honoring by not using AI? This one was a little bit tougher, but I found it. Patience. In that, giving myself more time to learn about the possible negative impact of AI usage. So I'm honoring that by slowing down. Definitely hard for me, though. What values am I compromising by not using AI? And then I just went back to the first set, efficiency, productivity, curiosity, learning. So initially, I fell in love with how AI could move through tasks with that efficiency, with that, effectiveness, especially with all of the marketing demands of being a small business owner. And then I started hearing and reading more criticism of AI, which made me look more closely at my usage. And I did fall for the loudest voice in the room, and I pulled way, way back on my usage. But then when I did that values audit, I've actually come to a more balanced point of view that reflects my values. So if you're as eager as I am to keep learning and engaging in conversation about how to adapt your career to changing circumstances, not just artificial intelligence, that's just the one we're most present to right now, but this is an ongoing issue. Your career is always going to have changing circumstances. So I want to invite you to join me this Thursday, June 11th, for a conversation with Emmy-nominated film producer Carolina Groppa. You may know her as the host of the wildly informative podcast Angle on Producers. It spotlights the magic makers of movies and TV series. I love it. So Carolina, though, she's built her career by continually adapting as the entertainment industry and technologies have been changing around her. So together, we're going to explore what happens when the old playbook no longer works. How do you continue building a career that reflects who you are while the world around you keeps changing? And how do you stay relevant, curious, and human along the way? So this Thursday, June 11th, 12 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, Substack Live. Bottom line, when no crystal ball exists, one of the most effective ways to make a decision is to use your values. This allows you to stay curious, experiment, have a discovery process, and decide what's right for you. Now, Becky and Roger, to come full circle, they never came to an understanding with each other and themselves, unfortunately. They just dug their heels into being right rather than assessing if their actions aligned with their values. Now, they may have been aligned, but they never did the self-check-in. So whatever the situation is, that it could be AI or whether you use an induction oven or book a Waymo, look at what the tech represents and if it aligns with what's most important to you. If you're wanting a little more support as you sort through what's changing in your career, you can always join Solid Ground. It's my membership community. We take this work deeper with monthly lessons and journal prompts and guided meditations. You can find it at moonshotmentor.substack.com. And before we go, I just want to say thank you so much to Kara for all of the social media work and to Lauren Deacon for leading the charge on all Moonshot Mentor operations. And thank you for being here. Your time is invaluable, and I'm so absolutely delighted and honored that you would spend it with me. I will see you next week. Thanks for being here.